Hi, this is Mashi, and this is going to be a pick a card reading on Should I Move On? So go ahead and pick a deck. I'm feeling like doing 3 different decks this time. Deck number 1, deck number 2, and deck number 3. I'm still going to call it a pick a card. Or if perhaps one of these 3 crystals calls out to you, deck number 1, or reading number 1, is Moonstone. Reading number 2 is Goldstone. It's kind of better with the lighting right there. And then number 3 is Labradorite. So go ahead and go into the description for the timestamp if you want to access your reading more easily. And I think I'm going to say this at the beginning instead of at the end of each 3. So if any of you would like to book a reading with me to look into your specific situation, check out the description for that as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started with reading number 1. So reading number 1, Should I Move On? So I'm going to be like looking into a bit of the situation. It's kind of what I'm going for. Okay, so this has been going on a long time and you've been in a lot of pain. So perhaps right now with this person you're not in communication, which I think explains like just in general for people wondering if you should move on, but not always. So for a lot of you, you may not be in communication, and then for some of you, I would say like you've been in communication, like you maybe even in a relationship, and it's like it's very painful right now. So you're wondering if that means this relationship should end at this time. And then the Empress. So you are the Empress. The Empress is like self-respecting and like nurturing and caring and like forgiving too. So if you don't feel like those traits are like a big embodiment of you right now, like if like for an example like you feel tired and like sick all the time, or you feel like drained is another word that's coming up for me. I'm feeling like if you're feeling like you're fading away, if that resonates with any of you out there, it's like time to take back your power. So if the connection or holding on to it is making you stay like feeling like left out in the cold, left out for dead, like, you know, there's so much pain that like you can't even like get up because it hurts. And of course it doesn't always have to be physical pain. It can just be mental and emotional pain as well, or spiritual pain. If you're feeling that way, and you feel stepping away from the connection can help you heal and grow, it could be good. But how do I feel? 2 of Cups. But it's like if you love this person and you really want this to work out, the highest chance for that is if you like respect yourself, love yourself, and like and do what's best for yourself at the time. So if they are basically making you feel stuck, holding you back, keeping you down in some sort of way, then for an example of how like what I mean by moving on, like let's say you're with someone and or like maybe you're in what's an example of like, it's not like saying like this is over, but instead saying like this version of us doesn't work for me, like, so that is over. Like this version, like I have been killed, like like the me that you knew is like no more. So you're a new person, and this new person doesn't have to hold onto any of those pains, heartaches, and so when you can fully transform into this new person, that is when you fully like accept the past. And if you have any issues like in terms of having to forgive this person, once you fully transform, there's like, yeah, of course you forgive them because it's now this new you. And if not, as this new you, that's okay. That just means there's another cycle of like having to feel this pain and like leave it behind to go through in the future as well. So don't think of moving on ever as like giving up on a person. And if it feels like that, then maybe when you communicate your goodbye, you should explain that you don't want this to be an eternal goodbye, but rather a goodbye that's best for you. And perhaps there's a hello. Perhaps your paths cross again, you know, that kind of thing. But you don't have to question for a second how you feel about this person. Or maybe it's like you don't know how you feel, but basically if you do know, and the only thing about you that doesn't know is just worrying that you might be wrong, Spirit is saying don't have those kinds of doubts, because you know if you know. We get death, transformation. So there is a way to recognize this love and recognize each other and say goodbye to the past. So I am getting for should I move on as basically yes, but not from just this one specific, but not like, yeah, I just hope that makes sense. I hope you guys get what I mean by move on in that context. Maybe a card will help me. 3 of Cups. Yeah, it's like, so just like one other analogy I can think of is like moving on, like letting go of the connection, but never burning the bridge. That sort of thing. I just don't believe in burnt bridges. I just believe in always having the choice to say yes or no to connections ever reconnecting. You can disconnect, I would say, in the sense that you're like, you know, energetically always connected, but now you're just saying not in the physical space, sorry, no, you know? You can choose like who comes over for a party or dinner. It's just like that. It's like just explaining like not at this time but in the future. So alright, those are all the like messages I'm getting for the question. So I'm sorry, I'm not really sure if that was even a yes or a no, but I am hoping and trusting that whatever I said helped you guys with your decision. And if not, you can email me and we can try to do a reading. Actually, or like if readings just don't help, then maybe there's just something else that's gonna help you like figure this out. I do want to say, like, no matter what, all of you guys out there like wondering things and asking questions, like example for me, like questions I ask is like, will I be okay? Will I be okay? You know? I just gotta say, we're all gonna get to the bottom of this. I trust if you keep on going and never give up, somewhere on this path, things will make sense. And so, yeah, I just really wanted to say that for some reason. I just get the sensation that this question is not as like lighthearted for some of you out there. Love is very intense, and it could also just be something else. This could also just be life, you know. For me, I very much think about my life. The romance part, yes, it's cool, but there's like something very important to all of this for me with my journey, and it just like makes me wonder. So for any of you guys out there wondering, like, are you gonna make it through this? Is this gonna make sense later? Am I gonna know the answer someday? The answer is yes, but the way to do it is to let it go. It's to not try to find it, but just let it find you. I hope that helped you guys and wasn't confusing. Alright, sorry. sending a lot of love and light, and I just am hoping the best for all of you guys. Peace out. Alright, so reading number 2 is Goldstone. I just need to take a few breaths. And this one's actually done, okay. Should you move on? Spirit says, if this is important to you, if this connection matters to you, I think you already know your answer. Of whatever it is that truly matters, that lies your answer. No, wait. 4 of Swords. Really contemplate on what is best for you. Three of Cups. I'll pause so I can think real quick. Actually, no, it's okay. The 3 of Cups. Yeah, it's so very similar message to reading 1. I feel like all 3 are going to be similar. So just a heads up for all the like, should I move on? It's kind of like it's still up to you. This reading won't really say yes or no, but it will kind of describe your situation. So the situation is that this is a long-lasting connection. At the end of the day, there's a lot of history, like on a soul level, with this person. You do know this. So past life, whatever you want to call it, it's like, or just this life, if you're not like a big fan of past lives. In this life even, you feel there's a lot of history with this person. So contemplate, do you have like a good time? Do you feel good about this person? Do you feel like you're equal and like buddy as well? Like, you know, just like on a friendship level, do they respect you in those ways as just a friend? And if they do, I think that's a very powerful thing for a strong connection. That is kind of rare, I found out. I kind of thought that was like, I guess the huge, but it's, I don't know, it's not. So if that's what they mean to you, if they are someone who you really enjoy who they are, non-romantically too, like it's not just about what you need in a partner for yourself, it's also just who they are as a person, and like what they've respected about you as a person, and not as like a partner, not like a relationship problem, but rather a fundamental friendship problem that is usually what would cause a relationship problem. It is the same thing, but I hope you get what I mean. So with that in mind, depending on that answer, I think helps with like, should you like say goodbye to this connection for the time being or not to, or like to keep going. Justice, just do what you think is right. You've always done what you think is right. You've always done what you think is fair. So that, I think, will help you a lot in this decision. You have to consider yourself when you think about fairness, and that can be hard sometimes. The Lovers. Oh, the Lovers. But it's not as lovey-dovey. It is more so like, make a decision. Is this who you vibe with? Like, think of this person as your thoughts, and then your thoughts is thinking about you and the other person. So when you look at you and this person from like yourself's outside of point of view, if you get what I mean, like from like someone who just sees like two people and really know them well, like you know this person well and this person well, and like you're asked, does this sound right? Like, does this sound like a perfect 50-50 vibrational match? And then however close that scale is, will also be a part of justice with like balancing and weighing out scales. Asking like, is there a really deep-rooted connection to this, you know? And then asking yourself, is this a really 50-50 vibrational match? So yeah, that, and I mean that on like all levels, like attraction, yeah, but like, I like just, again with the whole like, take it back to like the fundamentals of like, how you want to be treated as like an equal and not just about like as a partner. Like all those like, I don't know, things that would be really cool with having a partner. Okay. 2 of Swords and then 7 of Swords. So the part that makes this complicated is maybe whatever this answer is, another issue is that like they keep things from you, or like it may be a small thing, it may be a big thing, like, you know, maybe like they didn't tell you they were stressed out, or like they're not telling you what's going on, and then it's like with that type of energy leads to indecision, because you're like, I want to trust this person, but they're not telling me something, what's going on. So whenever that happens, Spirit is just kind of saying like, if you want to like, if this is more like a connection you're with already and you want to keep going, the keep going is basically trusting. That's like the thing. If you want this to keep going, you have to just trust and make a decision. Make a decision of what you're going to do about this. What are you going to do about the actual root of the issue, which is that things are not being spoken. And if you make an action like saying, hey, things are not being spoken, and still nothing's being spoken, maybe your decision to make is to just not speak and just do your own thing. But yeah. But definitely try to think about like where the problems are really coming from, and seeing if you can understand it, and if it's like something that actually is like okay and respectful of you as an individual in terms of your trust. So yeah, I hope that message resonated with somebody out there. I hope that helped. Sending love and light. Alright, peace out. Okay. So reading number 3, Labradorite. This beat's not as like, man. Come on, remote. Alright, well, reading number 3. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So, let's see what messages come out. So this might not give you a specific yes or no, but it should hopefully give you some like vibes to help you make your decision. Okay. We get Fragment. So I think the past is coming up a lot right now. I think you're kind of thinking back and sort of getting a sensation of like, I've been here before, or like, this again. And it's a sort of issue that every time it comes back up, it's kind of frustrating, because you're like, I thought I dealt with this, and then you realize there's like more healing to do, and usually you get through that healing. And so I think this is just another time for you to expand and learn more. So in terms of should I move on, this is actually the biggest like mystery one. This one I would say maybe you don't need to make the decision right now. Maybe you'll figure it out with a little bit more expanding and reflecting and meditating perhaps, and just growing. Work on, like, during this time, if you don't know, the least you can do is keep your heart open, keep your heart big, and ready to like come together with like another. Yeah. It's like, whether you should move on or not from this person, you've got to have a really big and open heart and feel really good and healed. And it's not just because of this person and this connection that has an impact on how your heart feels and how and your past issues. So I'm feeling like, with that in mind, try to like have a good time with whatever situation you are at, and being open to that if you will figure it out, if you'll heal through it later, just make sure right now you're being authentic to how you feel about like any situation. So I'm just seeing expansion, like get out there, explore. You're still learning, like there's a lot for you to like experience. So if you're getting a sensation of feeling trapped, or that like stuff has been happening over and over again, this is a message. Yeah, this reading 3 kind of, it's not really answering should you move on or not. This is just kind of talking about like that there's so much for you to still do outside of this connection. So it's kind of like create, heal, learn, like free yourself, expand, like get where you want to be in life. And then if this connection is still there, cool. If it's not hurting you right now, I think it's okay. If the connection is not the root cause of what's making you feel trapped, I think you're totally a-okay with keeping this connection in your like mind and heart. Like, you know, it's okay to like remember it. It's okay to like want it, you know, like if this is what you desire, if this is the person you desire, you know, if this is the person you want to be with, it's okay to like just be single right now and to heal yourself and believe in that person and trust that they'll be there when you make it out of your situation. Because once you're out of your situation, you'll have your answer then. And once you have your answer then, the person who you are feeling and thinking about will be there. Aww, love. Yeah. Love and meditation, love and pause. If time apart doesn't stop you from loving the person and loving this connection, if you love this connection, moving away, moving on is not letting go of is not like dropping the connection, you know? It's not like burning the bridge of the connection. It's just, it's like truly loving and committing to the connection because you're always going to love it even when you say goodbye. But then when you say goodbye and meditate, you realize it's always there. So I feel this is a message about like separation, long distance, but also about asking, like, yeah, so like if the connection doesn't feel good, I think step away. Whatever truly matters will always be there, no matter what you choose to do in the like physical world. I think people, yeah, it's complicated indeed, whatever the situation. I also hear this is just a message to kind of like relate on like how complication can like confuse things. Like this whole world is complicated, you know, there's like jobs and food and making sure your body is warm and like interacting and like doing all this sort of stuff, because like we have so many thoughts but people can't hear them, so you have to do something physically to show your expression of what you're doing. And so sometimes with all that going on, a lot of the times, every time, like with all of this stuff going on, it is very painful to like be apart from from anything it is that we love. But whatever it is we truly love is always going to be within us, and whatever that is can like really never be taken away from you. So you will always have love inside. You will always have that. So if you keep letting go, if you don't move on from people, don't move on from physical items, move on from the negative attachments to any of those things. Anything that keeps you in a connection, like there's good things and there's bad things that keep you into things, or light and dark, whatever. Let's say like connection to what keeps you to ice cream, or no, that's not it. That's not what I'm trying to talk about. Attachment, like, oh, it's like the opposite of what attachment sounds like. People think attachment, it sounds like obsession, but it's not that at all. Like attachment is like, a positive attachment would be, there's this person you know, they are really nice to you. A negative attachment is, there's this person you know, they beat you up and take your lunch money. You now have a negative attachment to this person, this bully at school. Yeah, anyone you go to school with, boom, you have attachment to because you go there and you see them. And so you therefore have lots of positive and negative attachments, depending on like how people treat you. So basically, if you let go of all negative attachments, I can hold, like, let's say like my brother gave me a milk tea, a bubble tea, but he also like, I don't know, like pushed my car down the road. I have a positive and negative attachment to this person. If I can still see this person in my physical space but drop the negative attachment, then in terms of physically move on, I guess, it's like no, like stick around. But if it's more like you need to step away to feel safe, or you need to step away to let those negative attachments go, then step away, and in that aspect move on. So basically, my opinion on moving on is that there's no such thing as burning a bridge. There's just such thing as trying to release attachments. Yeah. I hope that helped. I hope that helped with how you feel about this whole situation. Also, a final thing to mention is to keep in mind, with doing that, that also means energetically, whatever you felt with that person, if you release all negative attachments, not just to a person, but just in general, and kind of attachments in general, because a positive or negative attachment is still an attachment. So if you can let all that go, then you can just go to like having wishes and just like hoping, you know, kind of like something like this, like pudding showing up at the front of your door every day, or like I don't know, a free cup of coffee every morning. Like none of us have that attachment, or maybe you do, but like I don't have that attachment because I don't get coffee every morning, so I don't have the attachment. So then, but I can still wish for it, like, I wish coffee, or I wish it snows every day. There's nothing wrong with wishing for it to snow every day, because it could snow, it could not snow. You're not expecting it to do one or the other, but you do have like a preference, you have a wish. That's also something to keep in mind with the concept of moving on. You can do like anything and say goodbye to anyone, and you always have the entitlement. You have the right to like wish certain things. You can wish that like for world peace. You can wish for anything. It's okay to wish for it. And by letting go of attachments, whatever the love within you, basically like you are going to connect with like all of love in the universe. So this applies to this person for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that was helpful. Those are just kind of messages I got. Readings 1, 2, and 3 were all kind of like similar. So yeah, hopefully this doesn't offend anybody. Because I don't want to like step in and say like, oh, this is what moving on means, or like, oh yes, you have to do this. I don't know. I'm like kind of paranoid about that right now, and that's kind of on me. So my apologies, guys. I feel I'm still at a high vibration though. I feel pretty good, just in general. So yeah, let me know if this was a positive video or if I was negative, or like pushing something onto you. Basically, like you definitely know what's best, and trust yourself with the situation. Trust everything will work out in the way that's best for you. Alright, that's it. I'm like 50-50 confident on this. Alright, love and light, guys. Peace out.